Despite global thirst for key tech material, miners in rebel-held Rubaya toil in poverty, mired in conflict and unrest. Rubaya lies in the heart of the eastern DRC, a mineral-rich area of the Central African nation that for decades has been haunted by conflict between government forces and different armed groups, including the Rwanda-backed M23, whose recent resurgence has escalated the violence.
Under the watchful eye of M23 rebels in the hills around the Congolese town of Rubaya, a line of men in rubber boots ferry sacks full of crushed rocks up winding paths cut into the slopes. The laborers are hauling coltan ore, a mineral that powers the modern world. The ore will be loaded onto motorbikes and eventually shipped thousands of kilometers away to Asia. There it's processed into tantalum, a heat-resistant metal that fetches more than $300 a kilogram and is in high demand by makers of mobile phones, computers, aerospace components, and gas turbines. Rubaya produces around 15% of the world's coltan, all dug manually by impoverished locals who earn a few dollars per day. Control of this mine is the biggest prize in a long-running conflict in this Central African nation.
When the Congolese soldiers were managing this mine, there was too much harassment. There were many different taxes, and often we, the diggers, were not paid. And even if we got something, it was poorly paid, around 3,000 to 5,000 Congolese francs. But today, since the M23 took control of the area, the situation has clearly improved. We are treated better, and the number of taxes has decreased.
The area was seized in April 2024 by M23, a rebel group the United Nations says has plundered Rubaya's riches to help fund its insurgency, backed by the government of neighboring Rwanda. The heavily armed rebels, whose stated aim is to overthrow the government in Kinshasa and ensure the safety of the Congolese Tutsi minority, captured even more mineral-rich territory in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo this year. The United States Treasury sanctioned other alleged participants in minerals smuggling in Congo, including Pareco FF, a pro-government Congolese militia that the US said controlled the Rubaya mining site from 2022 to early 2024, prior to M23's takeover.
L'exploitation de cette mine est une exploitation artisanale.
The exploitation of this mine is artisanal. There's no heavy machinery there. It's people who are doing the mining. I wonder how such an operation could possibly be the source of financing for a project like the AFC, which is now a Congolese project. No, that's false.
Simply reaching Rubaya's sprawling beehive-like maze of pits is a major undertaking. Activity in Rubaya begins before dawn, when thousands of miners descend on the pits cut into the rolling hills of Congo's North Kivu province, where many toil in 12-hour shifts. The tunnels can be as deep as 15 meters underground. Once fragments of ore are dislodged, porters carry sacks of the rubble to the surface, where laborers have dug shallow basins that are filled with water. There, other workers, including women and children, wash the ore and separate it from sand and other debris before laying it into the sun to dry. The journalists were supervised by unarmed M23 personnel throughout their visit to the mining area. A reporter saw a rebel official jotting down in a notebook how many sacks each porter, covered in a fine white dust, carted to each collection point. Once the ore is dry, it is stacked on the backs of motorbikes that carry it to one of several depots in the nearby town of Rubaya, where it is sold to traders.
I am a buyer at Rubaya. I purchase minerals here. I only buy in small quantities. If the minerals are not dried, I dry them, and then I store them in my depot. Right now, we're working in safety. There's no tight harassment. Before, there were threats, but currently we are working without any issues.
Some US entrepreneurs have also set their sights on Rubaya's coltan treasure as President Donald Trump seeks to broker a peace deal to end the conflict and promote development of the region's mineral wealth. In Congo, those riches include huge reserves of cobalt, gold, copper, lithium, and diamonds, in addition to coltan. The country's formal mining sector at present is dominated by Chinese companies. Some US lawmakers are pushing back. In an August 8th letter to Trump and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, more than 50 Democratic Congress members criticized what they said was the administration's lack of transparency in its negotiations with the DRC. They also raised concerns about a potential conflict of interest in a Trump ally angling for rights to develop the Rubaya mine. The US-backed accord does not include M23. The rebel group is part of a separate parallel mediation led by Qatar that seeks to end hostilities. The success of those talks in Doha is key to any lasting peace and in making Rubaya safe for investment and development by Western mining interests. Some diplomats and analysts are dubious about the prospects for a speedy resolution. Africa Bureau, WION, World is One.